10 men in a van.
Starving Artist Podcast. You already know what it is. Yeah. We are back.
Back.
You want to talk about fashion?
I don't want to talk about fashion because we nearly got into it on a regular argument that we have on the last episode.
About jeans. About
jeans.
The skinniness of one's jeans.
Yeah, the acceptability of thickness of one's pant.
Okay, so my argument is, I'm always saying to Sean that skinny jeans and skinny pants in general aren't the vibe. Show the people your pants. That's bordering on acceptable. You know what I mean? That's tight on the calf, and you've got henchy calves. To be fair,
yeah. When I bought them, I was skinnier, so they did fit different. But Muay Thai will do that to you.
Yeah, getting massive.
Yeah, getting huge.
So what's your argument?
My argument is that these things, these rules that people have about fashion change so regularly that just fuck listening to any of it. Make your own. You know what I mean? Make your own fucking rules. Like the Y2K thing, the Y2K chic thing that's going on at the moment in New York.
It's me, the Dare.
It's me, Bob Dylan, in my Y2K chic. But like, is that even what he fucking sounds like?
I like the girls who do drugs.
I like the women who smoke cigarettes. That's more of the
in the back of the club.
In the Upper West Side, wearing my skinny jeans. But like, it's
the Y2K thing.
Yeah, the Y2K thing. So like, that's in at the moment. Everyone's dressing like the 2000s and that.
Uh-huh.
But within my adult life on social media, and I know I've been an adult for some years, but I remember a time where I was looking through, slideshows of people in the 2000s and their outfits, and everyone was in agreement that these people looked fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now everyone's trying to dress like them again.
Right.
Because the rules change that often.
Yeah, because fashion.
Right,
yeah.
And I think it's because, and we've discussed this like in the past, but like every generation, especially at the moment, they're all beefing.
Yeah.
So like every generation doesn't want to do what the one before did. You know what I mean? They want to do something different because, you're my older brother and you wear skinny jeans and I think you're a dickhead, so I'm going to wear cargo pants.
Right, yeah.
And then their younger brother is going to think your cargo pants look fucking stupid. I'm going to wear my skinny jeans. So like, at a point, I'm not going to buy all this clobber to keep up with these trends that will change every 5 years. Mm-hmm. Less than every year. Every season it changes.
Right, yeah.
So just, I don't know, set yourself some rules.
Right. So
live by them.
Here is my stance on it, right? The skinny jeans thing, I wore jeans so skinny that I had to buy women's jeans for like most of my teen years, right? And I got ripped at school for that, right?
I recall.
I was ahead. Yeah, it was you that was ripping me. Yeah. I was ahead of the curve, you could say, which now gives me a free pass.
To
say anything.
You were dressing like a woman before it was cool.
Exactly.
So.
Right. So shut up.
Yeah. So shut up. I'll say F. Don't test me.
Yeah.
I will.
That's bordering on whether we can leave it in. When we joked about that before, it was fine, but now it's not.
Yeah, no, I don't know, because I can use the Central Sea line. Like, how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
We're flying.
I too have had gay bitches in the past. I feel you, brother.
Yes, these gay bitches.
Anyway, right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
So, I used to wear really skinny jeans, and for me, the reason I don't wear skinny jeans now is not necessarily like a cultural fashion thing. It's more just that like I'm past it. I look back at myself back then and think, you like a fucking idiot, right? Those jeans are far too tight for your legs.
Yeah.
For my already skinny legs. No wonder I had to buy women's jeans. My legs were like this to begin with. So, but even now, right, so these jeans that I'm currently wearing, some may argue are still too slim. I would say that I think these are technically regular. My fashion has sort of come around again to the point where now the stuff I wear, I think, is an extension of what I wore in my teen years. Like I went through a phase in between, which I still sometimes wear like cargos and I've got dickies and stuff like that. but it's sort of coming back to, which I think a lot of fashion does. Like, so you're talking about the Y2K shit. I think the reason it's working now better than it did then is people are just taking the best pieces from then. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Some of
It's
the
like
stuff,
when the 80s comes back, it's like,
Exactly,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, it's all... Well, and the 80s came back in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure.
right? Yeah.
Every
yeah.
20 years,
Well,
you'll get your shit back.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Don't get me wrong.
what, I've
though.
got 10 years left before I can wear skinny jeans again?
Some stuff still looks fucking ridiculous,
Oh, yeah.
but there's a vein.
I mean, there's stuff that looks ridiculous now, though. I
But
think
no,
most
that-
people
yeah,
dress
that-
like
that's what I mean.
knobheads.
That's what I mean. But like some of the stuff that they've brought back from the
Yeah.
Y2K shit looks ridiculous. But I'm trying to think of it as more of a like a early New York 2000s things. You know what I mean? Like the Strokes in like 2001 or 2002. You know, you're on about wanting to get like white Converse and shit.
Yeah. Yes.
That very much works in that vein. You know what I mean? Because it's like this, like it's the indie sleaze that's come back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, I think they're like a timeless enough thing that they can go with a lot of stuff, though. You can dress them up or down. Like, not being funny, David Tennant's Doctor Who was dressing fly with them Converse, but then Johnny Knoxville was wearing the same Converse with a different outfit, and
Yeah.
I want to be both. I want
Yeah.
to be a Time Lord who gets hit by bulls sometimes, you know.
Tell the people what you were telling me about the jacket,
The jacket,
about
yeah.
the pink jacket.
So like, I think, because I've been thinking a lot about. I'm trying to sort out my wardrobe, because a lot of my clothes that I own are clothes that I've owned since being a teenager, and I just don't really wear them anymore. Like, I don't want to wear graphic t-shirts anymore, just because I want to dress like a fucking grown up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with that, I've been thinking about, you know, all of the other items of clothes. So you know, I'm wanting to get plain shirts and then some nice pants. You know what I mean? Get some of them pleats on the go. Get some Converse on the go. You know what I mean? And then I've been getting a lot of these same style of jackets with, like, you know, the wool
Yeah.
collar ones. I've
Don't
got
know
one
what
over
you'd
there.
call that shit.
Neither really, but
No.
I've got a green one over there. I've got a denim one. I've got like a sheepskin one and all this. And I'd been buying them, consciously thinking I want to have like a distinctive, you know, partly to make it easier for myself picking outfits,
Right. Yeah.
but also partially so that it can be like, here is what I look
Yeah.
like. And I didn't think I'd been doing it that effectively. But then I was in work and my girlfriend sent me a Snapchat, and she was at her friend's house, and her friend's got a 6-year-old kid, I think. And she'd been shopping that day, and she brought home this like pink version of one of them coats, and said to Heather, she was like, "Oh, take a photo of this and send it to Sean. I've got a jacket like his." And like, I didn't realize that was like something that would be getting picked up on by anyone. But
cosplaying as you.
yeah, cosplaying as myself, but like, you know,
It's that like iconography thing, isn't it? Like
exactly.
we've talked a lot about like the way our band dresses and like suits and stuff like that, because you kind of want people to almost, when they think of you, they see you a certain way.
Exactly.
in their mind's eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if I think Alex Turner, I still think of AM Alex Turner, because the
Right.
iconography of it was so strong
Yeah,
compared to the
yeah.
other like eras. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when people think of Sabrina Carpenter in fucking 30 years' time, they'll probably think of this era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Yeah, which it makes it difficult, doesn't it? Sometimes, I guess, especially if you're like a huge pop star, because like when Billie Eilish like stopped wearing baggy shit, people were like, "Oh, what's this?" You know what I mean?
yeah. And then she started wearing it, and everyone was like, "Oh, what you doing?"
Yeah,
You just-
exactly.
yeah,
You can't fucking win.
You can't like change your shit
Yeah.
because of everyone else's rules, which it's stupid. All these rules people have about fashion are ridiculous, especially other people's fashion. Like, you should be just wearing whatever makes you feel
yeah.
as cool as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is weird though, because like we say this, but we will critique other people's fashion. Like
Well.
there's an Instagram account, right, that's about the Liverpool fashion scene, right?
Which one?
I don't know. Whatever's going on, and like some of it's cool, right, but some of it
What,
just-
the Montaigne
the what?
Montaigne trackies.
Oh, what, like you mean like Scouse fashion scene?
Yeah.
Like the John Tens and that.
Well, what else is Liverpool fashion?
No, like, I think it's about what's going on in the city at the minute, fashion wise. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's basically a bunch of fucking students like
Yeah,
dressing
it's
weird.
what's been going on in London for the past few months.
Yeah.
We'll have a look in the north.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
But so anyway, so some of it's like cool, but I feel like people just think that like fashion, quote unquote, is just like dressing weird. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of these things is like the pieces themselves could be cool, you know what I mean? It could be like a cool pair of boots and a cool jacket or whatever. But like it looks like people have just gone like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Throw them together.
Blend it together.
Yeah. There's no like consideration about like silhouette or like how things like play off each other or like even what general style you're going for. So like obviously we've talked about the suits, but also like an extension. Think about the Alex Turner AM phase of like maybe it's like trousers or jeans with boots and a leather jacket with like a t-shirt or a shirt.
Yeah.
Like that is a genre of dressing, you know what I mean? Whereas I think sometimes people just, and like, you know, more power to them, people just like put things together and it's like, this isn't pulling from anything, it's not
Yeah.
adding to anything.
It's like the
it just
idea of
kinda
wearing
looks
like
mismatched.
a dead chunky shoe with a dead skinny jean or vice
Yeah,
versa.
yeah.
There's certain things that I suppose there's rules for a reason.
Yeah.
But then also, like, you know, why can't I wear a fucking cape? You know what I mean? Why can't I actually wear a fucking cape though?
Yeah, that is true.
Because I can't. I don't feel like I've got the confidence to pull off a little off the shoulder cape that goes down to like just the fucking arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you could make that look cool as shit. A cloak. Why aren't we wearing cloaks anymore? You know what I mean?
Well, you know what it is, right? It's
That
like,
shit's fashion as fuck, but like I don't know. I don't know what point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
I just want to wear a fucking cape.
well, you know how in the last episode we were talking about like music and content being an extension of our personality because it's our art or whatever. It's like, not that I'm calling content our art, that seems like it's out of context. Fashion is like a similar thing, right? So it's like you can wear this outlandish shit, but then it's portraying something
It's portraying
about
you as an outlandish human
yeah,
being,
which
and
doesn't always fit your personality. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
it's one of them. Like you want to make friends as well, so
Right,
you've got to conform somewhat. But then,
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's a fine line, isn't it? It's conforming to an extent that it's acceptable whilst still being yourself. It makes it so complicated that you might say, "Fuck it, just wear your cape then."
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people do. You know what I mean? Do us a favor, just pull that. See that blue thing? Just pull it over the light.
Oh.
Because looking at you is killing me right now because that light was getting at me. Okay, so here's an interesting thing that we've maybe touched on in our like just day-to-day lives in the past is the idea of a sound having a look, right? When we've talked about how we should dress for certain shoots and stuff.
Yeah, I'm always saying that we sound quite 80s, so we should dress a little bit like that.
It's like the 80s,
Which
but
is
now,
quite rich for someone who's talking about you don't need them rules. But then when it's, I think it's different for when you're dressing for marketing though, because you've got to, the whole thing with marketing is avoiding creating any sort of a dissonance between what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what the message is, you know what I mean? Like if you had a really jolly song about 9/11, that would feel a bit fucking weird, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Whereas a really sad song about like, you know, a birth that went really well,
right?
you don't want to create that dissonance. So like when when you're like creating content and creating music, you've half got to dress for what it sounds like, which
but right, there's a weird thing in there though, because obviously that has to then align with who you feel like you are.
Yeah.
Because if the music has to be an extension of you, and then the visuals
clothes
has to be an extension of the music. Like,
but then through that, is the clothes not an extension of you because the music was an extension of you, or are we getting too far removed? Is it like
I think you could argue that point.
like a copy of a copy type thing?
No, I think you could argue that for sure. I just think sometimes it can be easy to go like, oh, the music sounds like this, so we should dress like this, but this look doesn't match our personality.
Yeah, but I don't suit them clothes, so now what am I doing?
Or even like we're lucky, I guess, a lot of our sort of fashion influence does kind of align with the sound, you know what I mean?
I think it will though. Like, imagine if you're really into emo music and you make emo music and you love it.
Yeah, you're in that culture, eh?
You're in the culture. You're gonna be dressing like it because it's everything that you're putting out there all the time really is an extension of yourself because you are yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's like, oh, this music is. How do I even describe it? It almost as if like saying this music is an extension of myself. It's like, well, fucking of course it is. Like, where else is it going to have come from? You know what I mean? So like, then how you dress is also a part of yourself. So it's all going to tie in and feel the same because it's all tied into the one sort of genesis point that is you. You know what I mean?
What I wanted to touch on, just something you said before, was about the graphic tees thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think we went through a weird phase, right, where when
we wanted
were,
to be an indie band that was in the streetwear subculture thing.
Yeah, well, because I think
without it being the indie streetwear thing, like we weren't Rex Orange County in it. We were trying to be Rockhampton, but an indie band.
Right, yeah, which like is kind of at the time.
Well, then that is Rex on Orange County, though, isn't it? To be fair,
a little bit, yeah. At the time, I think that was a vibe, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you think about what was going on musically in that era, so we're talking like 2018 to 2020, maybe. Like you're coming off the back of like Brockhampton, and like obviously hip hop was the pop music. You know what I mean? The subculture of hip hop had transcended just being a subculture and had bled into the mainstream.
I feel like I wasn't hearing anywhere near as much pop music.
Exactly,
it'd be
right.
Kanye that would be on the radio.
Yeah, and even the pop music that was around. That's an interesting thing about what's happened now.
There'd be like a rapper on it every time as well.
Yeah, or it'd have like trap drums or something.
Yeah.
Which is like, side note, something I worry about now because obviously like we've got some songs that have like graduated from like early demos of that era where I'm like, oh, are those hi-hats like too trap for now? Because you think about what's going on now, it's a very different thing. Everything, pop music is very just pop, you know.
But then again, is this a thing of these are other people's rules, your shit should be an extension of you, like we liked them drums.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I stand by it artistically and creatively. But I just think, you know, like when we talk about stuff like playing the game and being like commercial and stuff like that, obviously you don't want to compromise your art for that. But I'm just thinking like, sometimes I wonder, is the art that we've made up to the times? You know what I mean?
Lad, fuck the times. Because the thing is that like you'll think that things have to be in with the times, and then someone will do something that sounds like it's really from a different time, or sounds like something that no one's done before, and everyone will go fucking crazy for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if we take it back to like fashion, I think I mentioned Sabrina Carpenter before. Like she's doing the whole pin-up thing that's a 50s thing.
Right.
And her career has gone fucking mental off it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not keeping with the times. That's 70 years behind the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it's worked well, I suppose because she's modernised it. Maybe,
but you know what? I was watching Sabrina Carpenter on Hot Ones with Abby the other day, and we were talking about like how crazy it must be to have to dress like that all the time. Like that's the thing.
You can't even go to the shops now without
when you
dressing
set
like that.
as your image, that's it for all the time. Whereas like if we set our images at like suits and leather jackets and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to maintain.
It makes it sound like a challenge, having to dress like that all the time and that. And for her, it probably is, but she's got a makeup team and that anyway. The makeup and hair bit is the longer bit for
right.
her. She'll have a stylist coming up with all these outfits anyway. She don't have to think about it. Whereas, like, say for fellas, right? So I was in uni, like, it was my first year, and I wear jeans every day to uni, and I'll wear like, you know, a t-shirt and a bit of a nice jacket. I dress well enough everywhere because all of my clothes
are decent
enough.
Yeah.
Everyone else there was wearing, you know, sweatpants and running shoes and this, that. And they were turning around to me being like, why don't you just wear shit like this, though, to uni? Like, you know, you'll be comfy. It's easier to... They were trying to make the point that it's easier in the morning because you just pick it up and throw it on. And it's like, what? Because these aren't also a pair of pants.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're putting one leg into one leg and then one leg into the other. So...
Yeah, what are we
You know
doing?
what I mean? How soft the material is hardly matters. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's also like, for me, maybe it's just like a pride thing, but it goes back to what we were talking about before about like conveying an image to people. Like even when I'm not, if I'm just walking around, I still want people to think I'm a certain kind of dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's like a weird thing. And don't get me
No,
wrong. Like,
I get it. If I go out like drinking or something, I will dress
yeah.
for like,
But, like-
but then if I'm going Raj for a monster, I'll wear me sweatpants and a pair of
Yeah.
slips.
Well, you know what? Like, that's what I was gonna say is. So we used to dress super smart all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Part of why I want to get my wardrobe back to not back, but like on the go, and with smarter stuff and more adult stuff, is because I used to get compliments on my outfits every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Your dad even said once in the car, like, do you know what? You're dressed so well all the time, though. I'd always have a buttoned-up shirt. I'd always have, leather boots on.
Yeah.
Fly as fuck. And then I got into streetwear, and then that stopped.
Right,
and I think partially because I was dressing the same as everyone else, and partially because I was dressing for comfort at a point.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to get back to that because it's like...
Well, mate, for the longest time, I didn't own joggers. I didn't own shorts. For the longest time, I didn't own trainers,
I can tell a story
really.
about this motherfucker in shorts. Wouldn't wear them until he saw Tyler, the Creator, wearing them. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe I could be like an indie Tyler, the Creator, or wear shorts, then that's
what's
fine.
funny? Like, that makes it sound like I just wasn't into Tyler before that. It was only when I got into like Tyler and more into like Gambino and stuff, I was like,
but
oh,
shorts became like an acceptable thing. Because I remember I wore shorts in front of you once and you were like, no. And I was like, are you not boiling? It's the height of summer. You're wearing women's jeans.
Prior to that, I was like, if Alex Turner wouldn't wear it on stage, then I probably wouldn't touch it, you know what I mean?
Which is mad because, like, think about the way that we were inspiring our outfits. We were looking at extremely successful, extremely rich people at the most formal.
But
and
also,
going, I won't wear anything that isn't that. But then we looked so fucking cool.
Right? It fucking worked. It worked, right? So that's what I think now is, I have joggers and I have shorts and I'll wear them if it's hot or if I'm just chilling or whatever. But I don't really ever want to... I'm getting back to, like you're saying, a place where you are, where like everywhere I go, I want to look a certain way. I want to give off a certain image. And I think we maybe had that more when we were younger because you have that when you're younger. You're like, this is who I am and I'm going to wear that on my sleeve so that you know that I'm part of this group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas, I think now I'm half trying to do it to manifest something out of myself as well. Being
same,
like,
mate.
It's like, well, there's a thing, it's the Showtime effect, they call it.
Right.
Where if you've got a certain outfit that's for a certain scenario, putting that outfit on primes you for the scenario.
Yeah.
So if we've got an outfit that we always wear on stage, we put that suit on, we become the stage persona, you know what I mean?
And it makes sense, you know what I mean? It's like something you touched on earlier when we were speaking is about like wanting to dress your age.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to look young. No, I don't want to look young, but like I want to look like mature. I want to look like I put thought into what I'm doing. You know, like I don't even really wear my fucking Vans anymore because it just feels like a younger version of myself. I'd rather wear boots or like a smart pair of white trainers or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have the danger of crossing over into like old money, which is cool to a degree.
Yeah.
But you don't want to become like a pastiche.
Yeah, it's like, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I hate the idea of like fashion having genres almost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't to an extent, but I do at the same time because it's like, oh, what? So because you've decided that you're emo, or because you've decided that you're, old money or a hip hop head or this or that. Right, well then I have to wear Jordans and I have to wear rips in my jeans, and it becomes this again rule thing of sort of there's a thing that I kind of want to wear, but I can't because I'm a fucking emo. You know what I mean?
Well, I think for guys like us as well, where our range of influence culturally is so wide and diverse, like just sticking to one thing, it's why now I tend to wear jeans and boots and stuff more, but I still will chuck the cargos on or I'll chuck the Dickies on or whatever because it's just a different vibe. Maybe I'm listening to something different that day and I'm like, I kind of want to dress like that vibe, you know what I mean? Like I'm feeling that way. So I wouldn't get rid of that older shit. We have not talked about, this is the Starving Artist podcast, and this has been related to the us dressing for the band and stuff.
Well, it's fashion though. Fashion is very much an art, and every artist has that as a part of the shit as well. Yeah. Andy Warhol had a way that you dress. Yeah, you know what I mean? They all do.
Well, like we said in the last episode, if it's not a necessity, could be art. You know what I mean?
Could well be.
Fashion is very much art. Well, there's a we'll end on this actually, right?
Right.
Because we gotta go. There's a duality to think about between how functional something is versus how much it is of an artistic expression, right? So there's art that is, what's the best way to put this? So there's the arts that are necessary, right? Architecture, fashion, food, pretty much it, right? So you can do them to a basic level.
Yeah.
You could live in a fucking hut and it'd keep the rain off your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you add design into those elements. But the further you get into design, you lose functionality.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because the functionality is basic. There's just the thing that you need.
It's
know
like,
what I mean?
you know, when
It's
you
the
see,
difference between surviving and thriving, isn't it? It's like you can survive by foraging food and living underneath a tree.
right, yeah.
But that's, you're not living the same quality of life as if you've got a house that you've decorated. Or Buddhists would argue the opposite, being
Right,
like, you've just formed a load of attachments to shit that you don't even care about. You don't really like the TV.
yeah.
But then what do they know? I fucking love the TV.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
I mean?
like when you see like fashion shows and people wearing like the craziest shit, and you're like, this isn't clothes. Like, people won't wear this out.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but it's like clothes as an expression, but it's gone so
Yeah.
far away from being
They
functional.
do take it to the extreme, though, so that you can see how extreme you can get it, and then you get other fashion people after that like, say if Prada do a show and they've got a fella wearing a massive, massive, massive puffer jacket, the next season in Next, you will see puffer jackets.
Right,
It won't be as extreme as that one,
Yeah.
but it's the extremity of what they do there is to advertise the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's like when Balenciaga, remember they brought out that shirt, there was it was a shirt stapled to another shirt.
Right, yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone was like, that's fucking stupid. It's like, yeah, but that's part of a collection. And if you click on that advert and then go to the landing page, all the other shit's normal clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you get what I'm saying as well? Like, that, say something like that, a shirt stapled to a shirt is like a conceptual piece. It's
Yeah.
not clothes. It's not meant to be worn. It's meant to be looked at. You know what I mean? It's
It's
more
the
for the
equivalent of
art
yeah,
of it.
it's
you know
the
what I mean?
equivalent of like a statue compared to a building.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
they've both been made via masonry, but one of them has been made purely for looking at it and the other one actually has a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, let's wrap. So
Yeah. If this has felt very disjointed, we apologise.
yeah,
The camera
the
has
camera's
stopped working
being a
4
dick.
times.
yeah,
But it's okay because we stayed hungry anyway,
yeah.
as should you.
As should you. Also, we'll
Oh yeah, we've still got. Never mind that. It's
Well-
not time to sign off.
wait. Yeah, just
Keep it rolling,
Just
bitch.
quick plugs just before we finish. In the last episode, we said that Give It Up will have already come out. That was bullshit. We've changed the schedule, but Give It Up should be out by the time this comes out. So we are releasing a new single every month. Give It Up has just dropped last week, as of when you're watching this. If you're watching it fresh, which, why aren't you watching it fresh? You should have watched it when it came out. What are you doing?
No. Here's a few more quick plugs: bath plug, sink plug, butt plug. so there's 3.
Stay hungry.